Okay, we are setting up our paper for the shaded forms assignment. The final product is going to look like this. We're going to draw our 4 forms in, and then we're going to shade them with the blending technique. What we're going to do first is we are going to find something to trace the sphere. We want a perfect circle, so you can either use a compass, or if you have something you can trace, that would be good too. I'm going to use a compass. And we want our sphere to go on the, or our circle to go in on the left-hand side of our paper. Okay, so there's the circle. Okay, we are now going to measure 2 inches over from the edge of our circle. So we're going to line up our 0 with the edge of the circle. We're measuring over 2 inches and making a mark. Measuring over another 2 inches and making our mark. This is going to be the width for our cylinder. We should draw 2 vertical lines. 1 and 2 for the cylinder. And then we're going to draw a curved line for the bottom of our cylinder. And we want to imitate or copy this curved line at the top and create an oval. You can see the top of this cylinder. Okay. Then we're measuring over another 2 inches. We're starting at the edge of the cylinder, lining up our ruler with the 0, measuring over 2 inches, making a mark. Measuring over another 2.5 inches. This is going to be our cube. I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines for our cube. It doesn't have to be a perfect square. Okay, we're going to finish this off. We're going to draw our vanishing point here, and then we're going to draw our orthogonal lines. So this is going to be a cube in 1 point perspective. Orthogonal lines to the vanishing point. And then a vertical line to close off the side, and a horizontal line to close off the top. We've done this before. And our last form is going to be the cone. I'm going to measure 2 inches from the edge of this, the edge of the cube, or maybe let's make that 1.5. And then let's make another mark at another 1.5 inches over. Okay, so 1.5 from the edge of the cube, 1.5. Make a mark, measure another 1.5, make another mark there. Okay, along these marks we just made, we're going to draw 2 diagonal lines for our cone. We want there to be a point up at the top, so just keep going until those 2 lines intersect. The bottom is going to be a curved line just like we did for the cylinder. Okay, so we have our 4 forms on our paper here. What we need to do now is draw a horizontal line through, which is going to be the back edge of our table that these forms are sitting on. They're not floating in space. We want our horizontal line to go in above this back bottom corner of the cube, because this orthogonal line needs to be on the table. So we're going to pick a spot above this corner somewhere here. Make sure our line is perfectly straight, perfectly horizontal. Go ahead and draw that line. Don't draw it through your forms. So there we have 4 forms. Let me make the circle a little bit darker. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we are going to be shading in the first form, which is going to be the sphere. Before we do that, we have to pick the direction of the light source. We're going to have the light source come in from the left-hand side. That means the light is going to be hitting my sphere on the upper left. Okay. Now we're going to be using a 5-point value scale. Okay, we're going to use 5 highlights and shadows. The first one is going to be the highlight. That's going to be number 1, our lightest value. That's going to go right up at the top. If the sun is shining down on this, our light source is hitting the sphere from the right side this time. Our highlight's going to go right up here in the top right. Then value number 2 is going to be the reflected light. If our light is shining down in this direction, it's going to hit the ground and then bounce back on to our sphere. That's what the reflected light is. That's value number 2. Value number 3 is right in here. It's called the contour shadow. It just kind of follows the contour of the sphere here in this motion. Number 4 is the core shadow. This is going to be the darkest shadow on our sphere, and that's going to go right on top of our contour shadow. Then we have our cast shadow. That's value number 5, our darkest value. That's going to be the cast shadow because the sun is shining from the right. The sphere is blocking the space here, creating a cast shadow of the sphere. Okay, so we have those 5 values. We need to create a value scale so we can refer to the values as we're shading in our sphere. I'm going to have you put in a value scale up at the top of your paper. So right up here, nothing fancy. You just want to quickly sketch 5 boxes. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, value number 1 is the highlight. We're leaving that white. Number 5 is the cast shadow. That's the darkest value. So go ahead and shade that in. It's number 5. Number 4 is going to be slightly lighter. Then we have 3. And then 2. I'm going to use the blender to blend these in. My 4, my 5, my 3, and my 2. Number 1 is going to be white, okay? Clean this up a little bit. Make my number 2 a little bit lighter. Okay, so I have my 5 values. we're going to be shading in the sphere, and then I want you to label all the values for each one of the forms, okay? There should be 5 values you're going to label the highlights and the shadows. Each number corresponds to either a highlight or a shadow. Number 1 is the highlight, number 2 is the reflected light, number 3 is the contour shadow, number 4 is the core shadow, and number 5 is the cast shadow. Okay. What we're going to do first is we're going to shade the entire sphere here with a value number 2, just so we have a foundation. So lightly, we want to shade in our entire sphere with a value number 2. We're going to use the blender to blend that in so it looks nice and smooth, nice solid value, no pencil marks or pencil strokes showing. Let me erase around my edges here so it looks nice and clean. Okay, so we've shaded the entire sphere or circle with the value number 2. The next step is to get our contour shadow. Contour shadow is going to go right around the front. It's going to curve up, go right around the front, and curve to the back. That's our contour shadow. So I'm going to apply more pressure, put in my value number 3. I want it to match the value number 3 that's in my value scale there, my 5-point value scale. I want to use the side of our pencil, not the point. I'm going to blend this in with the blender. I want to blend this into my value number 2 as well. So I'm kind of blending in this circular motion here. So we want a nice transition from the 2 to the 3, the 3 to the 2. Clean your edges. Okay, so there's my value number 3. Next step is to get the core shadow, which is value number 4. It's just going to go right on top of the value number 3. Apply more pressure. This is value number 4. It's going to be much darker. Blend it in with the blender. And you want to also blend this into the 3 as well. So nice transition from 2 to 3 to 4. To clean up the edges. Now we're going to erase the highlight. Going to go on the upper right hand corner. Going to blend around that. I don't want any hard edges there. I want a nice transition from 2 to 1. And the last step is to get the cast shadow. If the light's coming in from the, actually, we're coming in from the right here. Sorry, I did the opposite. Then our cast shadow is going to fall to the right, kind of in an oval shape like that. It's going to be value number 5, the darkest value. Okay, we're going to blend this in. Okay, then you're going to label. This is the highlight, number 1. Reflected light is number 2. Core shadow, number 3. I'm sorry, core shadow is number 4. And the contour shadow is number 3. Okay, you're going to refer to this handout, and for the rest of the forms, you're going to be referring to these handouts here. Okay, so you're going to be shading in the cylinder, cone, and the cube on your own. When you're all done, I want you to add some value behind the table here. Okay? Don't forget to label all of the highlights and shadows for all 4 forms.